Assalamu alaikum. Uh, this is going to be a short video just to explain the form design, how to create a form using HTML. What you see on the screen here is an example of a basic form, simple one, where you'll see it has an input box to enter the name, and here is a comment box. Then there is an input box for the email address, and there are here some options for checkboxes where users can select one or more. Also there is option buttons where also users can select one or more. You can actually adjust it so that when you click on one, the other one is not selected. So you can actually clear everything and then keep the one that is selected by default. Here also there is some options with the what's called drop down menu options that is already written in the code, so that you can select. You can have one selected by default as well. So here amazing is selected by default, for example. And this button is for to submit the form, to send it or to submit it. Of course this one to clear. So if you have written something and you would like to remove it or clear it, just click here. So there's two buttons at the end. I would like to go with you step by step to see how this form is created. So let us start from the first part here. These two lines, this line is just H1 heading, and this is just a small paragraph with this text. So this is what we have here, and let us just go step by step to see how other input elements have been added to this form. My form look like this so far. So this one, feedback form is H1, and then a paragraph. Fill out this form to help us improve our site. So you can actually have it as a paragraph by itself, or you can have it as heading as well. We have to start our form by using the form element form, and then we close it with slash form. Everything else that you have seen here, is actually going to be between this line number 9 and line number 17, but it's going to be of course extend later. So let us first see how we can actually create the second or the first input box, which is this one, name is a label, but this one is an input text. So to do this, we have to create a label for this one. I'm gonna copy and paste because to make it quick. So here I would like to copy the label for the name. So I've created a paragraph. This is a paragraph. Inside the paragraph I have a label. I close it here, and then I write name here as a label name, and then inside the label I should use this element. It's called an input element. Input element for all of them, for checkboxes, for option buttons, for commands buttons, for comments, for anything, for option buttons, for radio buttons. So the difference is in the type. Here input, the type is what? If the type is text, then write text. If the type is text, that means if it is a text input text like this, so you have to use type. Type is an attribute for the input element. Type equal text between quotations, and then you decide on the size. The size, for example, is 25 pixels or 20 pixels or 30 pixels. So this one, it will affect the this size. For example, here if I refresh this one, you will see this one here, it is 25. I mean, the more you do it, for example, if you make it 100 pixels, it will look like this. It's 100 pixel. It's just too much for a name, so you make it reasonable. So I'm gonna take it back to 25 pixels. 25 pixels. You can have maximum lengths so that you don't write more than specific characters. So you can use max length equal, for example, 15, so that the user cannot enter more than 15 characters here. And this, although you said the size is 25, but it means that you cannot have more than 15 characters in this one. Yani 15 characters, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, and then you cannot write more. That's it. So you can decide on this one if you like. So this is how to create one. If you like to create, for example, another one for the last name, if this is, for example, first name, and then you can copy the same line here, and you can copy the same line, and then instead of first name, make it last name. Last name. Also, you can make it 25. Let me remove the maximum length. Is not I mean, important here. I would say it's optional. So here, let me refresh. Refresh, because each one is in a paragraph by itself. So you will see first name first and then last name second. But if you like to have them both in the same line, then you have to remove the paragraph from that from this one here. So you make them both of them in one paragraph, like this one, for example. Look at the king. So that means I have a paragraph. Inside the paragraph, I have these two. So you're gonna see them in one line, like this. So this is first name and this is last name, right? But if you like to have them in different lines, then you have to create each one in a paragraph by itself, as you have seen earlier. All right. So now let me just follow the instruction from the previous one and make this one just name, and then refresh to see this is name, because I would like just to follow this instruction here to create this form. Okay, the second part here, I would like to create this text comments, and then in a new line I would like to open a small area for comments. These comments, I can decide on how many rows, like 1 2 3 4 5, something like that, and how many characters per each line, because later you can actually extend it like this if you want, just drag it here from here, but you can, by default, you can decide on it as well. So let me just copy that code here for this comment area, which is this one. I would like to copy, then explain it. So here I have this code, which is comments. Comments is just a text, and then br means give me a new line, so that you will see comments, and then you will see a new line, and then after this new line you will see a text area. There is an element, input element called text area. The number of rows 4. That means here there are four lines. This is one line, and then second line, third line, four line. And calls means columns. Columns mean for the number of characters. 36 means you can write 36 characters for the width of this comment area. And then there is a default place holder where you can say enter comments here, or you can just leave it blank. If you leave it blank, then you will see it like this. Let me show you. You will see it like this, blank, nothing there. All right. So, but if you'd like to give some tips for the user to write something here, like you can here say, like, for example, please enter comments here. All right. So and then you close it with a slash text area, and then you close the label, because you open the label here for comments. Then you close it up there, and then you close your paragraph. The second line is actually for a text input for the email address. Email address, you can leave it as text like this. The type is text. All right, like this, and then you will see this is how it looks. So this is how my comment area now, it has this text on it, as you have seen, and then this is an input text, just like the first one, email address. But if you like the email address to be dimmed, not visible, here for example, if I enter my email address, znm@ucj.edu.sa, so this is visible. But if you'd like to make it invisible and just dark bullets or dark periods, then you can actually decide to make it, instead of text, the type, make it password. So password will make your email address not visible. So here, if you write something, you will see it like just black dots. Okay, let us move ahead for the second part, which is this checkboxes. The checkboxes here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the checkbox on the right of the text. For example, here, things you like about us. What do you like about us? Do you like our site design, or our links, or it's easy to use, or you like the images of this website, or you like the source code? What do you like? You can select one, or you can select more than one if you like. Of course, first you have to write the title for this check boxes, which you think you like. Then you write the checkboxes. I would like to copy the code and paste it here and show you how this one is created. So here I created a paragraph, as you can see here, paragraph closed here, and then this one is just a text, things you liked. I made it strong. Strong means bold. You can have it heading like H3, for example. No problem with that at all. So it depends of what you like. So you make it H3. You can actually close it here as H3 and see how this one will make it different. Here is my example. This is H3, and it will make it actually very too far from the rest of these checkboxes. So I would like it to keep it, like, for example, strong as it was, because strong, it will keep it also aligned to this text, and there is no big space. Just this is BR, a new line. That means it has to go on a new line, because if you don't put this one, then you will find the first all checkboxes in the same line. But there is no problem with that. You can have them, things you like, then you have them here on the same line. No problem with that. So I will keep it like that. I will keep it is in the same line, things you like, because it's bold, and then you select one of these. How these are created? They're created as also I use the same element, which is input. Of course, here the first one is the label. The first label is text, site design. The second one is links. This one ease of use. This one images. This one source code. Okay. At the end, at the end of each one I have to close this label. Between the opening label and closing label I have the input element. The input element include two things. First, include the type, which is important. What is the type? The type, and the type is what? Checkbox, one word, no space, checkbox. Okay, you write for all of them, just copy and paste. You can do one and then copy it to the rest of these options, and then change the name of the label and change the name of the value. The value here for these checkboxes that you see here, okay, the value is optional actually, but if you put it, because later in other programs like PHP and something like that, you can use this value name design links is, but it is optional. So if you take it out, it works. The important thing here is the type. The type is checkbox. If you want one to be checked by default, for example, I want links to be checked like by default, this one to be checked by default, I can select this links at the end. I'm gonna write checked as an attribute, and then you refresh. When you refresh, you will see this one here by default is checked. So when you run this, open this for the first time in the browser, you will see the one that it has checked here, it is selected. So this is for what? This is for the checkboxes. What else do we have? We have this option radio buttons. We call them radio buttons because they look like old traditional radios. Okay, and I have a text here to ask the user how did they get to our site. Then I have selections like search engine, links from another site, detail.com website, reference in a book, or other. The radio button is on the right side of this text. So in order to do this, also again, I'm going to copy this code and paste it and then explain it as I did on the other ones. So here, this is a paragraph. How did you get to our site? Again, it uses a strong element in order to make it bold, and then a BR in order to make it a new line, so that you can see here how did you get to us, and then you see a new line, and in the new line I have the radio buttons. Same like in the checkboxes, you create labels for each one, and on these labels you write the name of the label, like search engine, links from another site, detail.com website, reference in a book, other, and then at the end you close these labels as you see here. Again, the values are not important, they are optional, but the most important here is the type. What is the type? The type for these radio buttons is radio, just the word radio, like that, small case, and you do it for all of them between quotations, and then you refresh. Here it is, you refresh, and then you will see this. Why this is selected by default? Because here I said check. If I remove this checked and put it on the last one, for example, you will see here other is the one that is selected by default, the last one. So you do it the same as you do with the checkboxes. The only difference is that the type is radio and the type is checkbox. So far we have done this. Let us see what is left for us. We are left with this list, the list which is hidden. Unless you click on this small rectangle, then you will see this list. This is created by what we called select options. Let me just copy the code and also explain it how these select options are created. So here I'm going to copy this code right here, and I created a paragraph. This paragraph is closed right here, opened here, closed here, and then on the label I created a text. Rate our site. Rate our site means give our site a rated, this one. And then if I would like to put a new line, I can do a new line here, BR. But BR, of course, it will show it. This one here is down. But if you like to remove the BR from it, then it will show it on the right side of this text, like this. Rate our site, and then you will see this like that, which is better. Anyway, the name of it is not important. You can just write select and remove the name. The name is important later when you do some other programming like PHP, but you can just put a select here and close it with a select element or tag. By the way, all these one has names. This one has a name, this one has a name, all of what, and this the first one has a name, this one has a name, but I removed it to make it easy for you, because names are not really important when you actually study the forms, but they are important later when you are using this form in database and stuff like that, which we will explain when it comes to that point. So this name is not important here, but you can have a select. Inside the select, you create option element, option, and then close it with slash option. And then here you have many of them. For example, I have here 12 of them, starting from 10 going down to 1, and then until awful. All of them you just copy and paste, and then change the value or change the text for this. So here, amazing. For example, you can change it to very good, and here very bad. This is rating for a website, so either very good or very bad, or rate it from 1 to 10, like that. If you want one of them to be checked by default, again you have to use what we have already. They are the checked or selected here. Let me refresh my, and by default the first one is selected, but I can select anyone, like number 4 for example, by default. If I would like to do this, then you use the alright, select it before you close the selected. Yeah, before you close the option, you write selected in number 10 or any other one. So let me just put it in number 5. For example, most people they choose 9. Okay, so you can actually select this one, and before you close the option here, type selected, and then refresh, and then you'll see 9 here selected by default. But you can remove it, or replace it with anything else. So this is how to decide on the drop down menu, or not drop down menu, is actually called option list. The last thing left for us here is this these two command buttons, and these two command buttons are created with an input element with the type submit and reset. So here let me copy and paste. So you have created also a paragraph for these two guys. Input, and the type is submit for the first one, and reset. It has to be submit and reset, but the value, you can decide the value, because the value is what is written on this buttons. If you write submit here, submit, and here clear, submit and clear, then you will see this one. Let me refresh. Alright, submit, yeah, submit the value and tab is submit. This is clear. Let me just see my form here, refresh it. Here it is. Alright, submit and clear. Clear is, as I said, is when you write something and you would like to clear it, anything, you can just click clear, but it has to have a reset value. A reset, I mean property name for this type. But for submit button, it has to be submit. This one you can change it, the value, but this one you don't change it. Why? Because it talks later to the action on the form. Because this form here, I should tell you that what do you do with the method? The method for this, where this form go? What do you need to do with this form? The method usually is post the form. Post it where? Post it to a server. So you have to write action as an attribute. Action equal the website. For example, if this one going to Jubel University College website, then you have to write the server name here on the action. So the method is post, action is server name or the website name where this form is going. This is very important. Earlier I didn't put it because you know, I just wanted to show you that you have to create a form with a form element and closing slash form element. But usually people, they create a form for what reason? They create a form to send it to a place. This place should be actually a value for the action. This server should be the value for the action, and the method for it is always post. Post means send. What I mean here, when you click on this submit, it will go to that website, and the information you entered here, it will go to that website email address or website database. So this is just you know, a quick video to help you creating a complete form using different types of input elements. Thank you so much.